Good afternoon, everybody. Thank you for attending our presentation today. My name is Christina Davidow, and I am the chair for the Global Business Committee at NABOR. And today we have put together an amazing panel and something that I've been so excited about to hear about Costa Rica. Conversations with Costa Rica, part 2. We had a similar conversation this time last year, yesterday, and we couldn't get enough of it. So today we're here again, and we're so excited to have everybody. I will be presenting our panelists, and we're going to kind of have a different sort of session today. We always try to listen to our attendees and to really adapt to the way that you want our presentations to be. And what we have come to learn is that you want to hear a conversation. You want to hear the questions that at some point you have asked yourself and things that might interest you that you didn't even know you had questions about. So it's not going to be a regular PowerPoint presentation panel. These folks are here. These folks are ready to chat about what they know about their experiences. We even have up-to-date information. One of our panelists has recently been traveling between the United States and Costa Rica, and they are here to tell you what that's like now, which is really exciting. So that being said, I'm going to start our conversation with Costa Rica, and I'm first going to read a little bit of a bio for each of our panelists. And I will say, in addition to our Costa Rica panelists today, we have a special guest from NAREP. We have Sid Fernandez, who is the president of NAREP. And I'm going to read a little bit about Sid because I think it's so interesting to hear about him. Sid is a first-generation Cuban American. He's originally from Miami. He has spent 10 years, he's devoted 10 years of his life to military service in the Marine Corps and the Air Force. He served overseas and is now a mortgage loan officer. He spent 2 years in real estate, and in those 2 years, he's risen in the ranks, and now he, as I said, he's the president of NAREP. So Sid Fernandez, welcome, and I can't wait till we give you just a minute to chat about NAREP, let us know what NAREP is, what you do. So in just a couple minutes, I'll let you take the reins. We also have Ofelia Ulloa. She is the president of SILA, and she's going to tell you exactly what that is in a minute. She is the president, broker, and owner of Costa Rica Sol First Realty, with an emphasis on the sale and rental of commercial and residential properties in the west zone of San Jose, which is the capital, of course, and the fastest growing area of the country. She has been the director of numerous projects throughout Costa Rica and has more than 20 years of experience in real estate. She currently is the International Director of CCCBR. She is the president of the Real Estate Confederation of Latin America, SILA, and was SILA's North President from 2017 to 2019. She's also an international realtor member serving on the NAR Board of Directors in 2017 and is an active member of CCCBR, SILA, FIA-BCI, and I love this, has earned her CIPS designation. I encourage all of you to become CIPS designees. Ofelia holds a business degree from Cardinal Cushing College in Boston, Massachusetts, and graduated with an interior decorator affirmation from LaSalle University in Chicago. By the way, Ofelia also has Miss Costa Rica on her resume. We have to share that. Those are the tidbits of it. After Ofelia, we have Alan Lungo, who is the president of CRGAR. He has resided in Costa Rica since 2004. Alan is the managing broker for Coldwell Banker in Flamingo. He has been the president of the Costa Rica Global Association of Realtors for the past 10 years. He's currently the director of marketing for Redwood Home Lending, offering loans of U.S. investors in single-family residences. He's a member of AREAA, a board member of the Flamingo Association and the Pacific Heights Association. Alan is the founder and former operating principal of the Keller Williams Costa Rica Master Franchise and was a partner and agent for KW Costa Rica Beach Properties. He works to promote the responsible growth of Costa Rica by serving on various other association boards for management of water resources and mountain development. He's been featured at many different presentations, including in Miami and San Diego, at the Global Theater in the NAR National Convention, at the Global Forum of the Annual Convention of the Florida Realtors Association, and for educational sessions sponsored by Arcadia Association of Realtors and South Bay Realtors, both near Los Angeles, California, the Louisville, Texas Realtor Association, the Pinellas Realtor Organization for the area, including St. Pete and Clearwater, close by. Mr. Lungo was recently featured at the Global Business Program in Chicago, presented by the Asian Real Estate Association of America. So as we can tell, our presenters really know what they're talking about. They're everywhere, they know people, they know what's going on, and they're really here to tell us everything that we should know. Last, but certainly not least, we have Adrián Solano, who's the president of CCCBR. He's the owner and CEO of AMS Real Estate Services of Costa Rica and a consultant and advisor for developers in the country. He's also a law student. Okay, turn back while you still can. No, I'm teasing. At the Universidad Federal de Costa Rica. Adrián has earned his CIPS, another CIPS designee, CRS, ABR, and SRS designations and certifications, as well as being a member of CREA. Adrián is an international realtor member who served as the vice president of the Costa Rican Real Estate Brokers Chamber from 2014 to 2016, and is now serving as the president of CCBR through 2022. We are so excited to have all of you all here. Thank you for your time. Thank you for your energy. And with that, I'm going to go ahead and get our program started. So I'd like to turn to Sid first. Sid, tell us a little bit about NAREP. Tell us about who you are and what you do.
So NAREP.
In about 5 minutes.
I promise you, I can do it quick. So thank you guys again for giving me the opportunity to speak. All right, guys. NAREP, like I mentioned before, it is a organization driven to educate our community. How do we do that? Through the service providers that are already doing it, right? Real estate professionals, loan officers, and anybody else that are entrepreneurs in the area. They're the ones that are getting the touches on our communities. They're the ones that can have the better opportunity of educating those out there in the community. Why? A lot of people, like my own family, like my mother, like my grandmother, and those in the past, immigrated over here. A lot of those same stories are in our own communities. And because there's a language barrier, or maybe a wage gap, there are some times where us as professionals have a hard time just explaining and educating. We don't know how to approach somebody, you're fearful, whatever it may be. This is the reason why NAREP is here. It is that way where both doors are opened up, we bring people together, and we better equip them to go and educate those community members. The reason I joined NAREP, guys, is very simple. Being a first generation Cuban American, I saw how my grandparents, my mother, how they had to fight to go through transactions, whether it was in their personal life or even at buying a home. And it very much connected me to this organization. As someone who obviously born in Miami, you're still pretty close to the Cuban culture, right? Because Miami is just full of it. But being one generation separated from our parent country, you're already disconnected. All right, going through life, went to the military, and when I came back, there was always this void for me, somewhere in my soul, somewhere in me. And now it provided an opportunity for me to reconnect to that. So now, not only did I serve in the military, but now I serve our people, not just our people that are Hispanic or anybody else in between, but those who want to be American. And that's a big thing for us because we have to be the educators because we can't always expect the government to do that. We have to be that. So NAREP for us, guys, is a light. It's a light not only to allow those people who are afraid to go into those communities, but those community members to connect them to the service providers that will provide the service necessary. So thank you guys once again for that. And any questions later, I'll definitely answer them.
Thank you, Sid. I appreciate that. And I appreciate also that you were so concise. I know you guys do so much that you really could talk about everything you do for hours and hours. So we appreciate that. And we look forward to seeing you around the community. I will now turn to Ofelia Ulloa, and I'd like to know, similarly, tell us a little bit about SELA. What is SELA and what do you guys do?
Yes, my pleasure, Christina. Well, SELA, as you mentioned it, is the Latin American Real Estate Confederation. It's an organization that integrates and represents the leading real estate association and real estate market of 19 Latin American countries. Actually, we're going to be 20 because Chile is joining soon. It goes from Mexico all the way to Argentina and the Caribbean. And we are more than 500,000 real estate agents legally registered and organized to act on behalf of a community of certified and trained professionals for real estate brokerage in order to seek integration and international business in better competitive conditions and defending the professional interest of our members. This year, Christina, we have really advanced an awful lot, and we have created a web page where the 20 countries are going to tell you how to do business in each of the countries. And that's extremely important because this way you're going to be able to do it. Right now we have it in Spanish, but it's going to be done also in Portuguese as well as in English. And you have all the referral formulas, forms, as well as all the information as to the history of the country, the legal requirements, and so forth. And if Brett would allow me later, I will show you how to do that, because I think it's important, because though we are an association, that we also are bilateral partners with NAR and with FIAPSI, what we are trying to do is to join and enforce in order to achieve businesses. And right now with the pandemic, I think it's a tremendous opportunity with our goodness of each country to really be the ones that we can reactivate the economy of our countries through knowing how to do business among ourselves.
That sounds tremendously helpful to people who are operating, you know, between international borders and everything. So how does one join your organization?
Okay, first of all, the members are associations, and the members of the associations have the right to be part of it. And so right now we have, in Costa Rica, we have two associations, like the CCBR that is led by Adrian Mora, and the Segregar, which is led by Alan Lungo. So what we do is that we give the all the tools in the 3 different languages on how to do business, and jointly we really can make a force and to lobby also within our governments, as well as with NAR, as well as with FIAPSI. So as a group, we have accomplished an awful lot this year, so we feel quite proud of it.
Well, thank you so much for your service. Now I'm going to go ahead and turn over the moderating to my fellow committee member, Brett Brown, who's been quite the trailblazer with everything international global business, and certainly with Costa Rica. Brett has traveled to Costa Rica for the purpose of developing and furthering the relationship from NABOR with Costa Rica, which of course we have such a privilege and honor to be an ambassador association. And we feel so fortunate to have that. And certainly Brett has been there. He's worked on the relationships, and he's developed not only relationships, but friendships as well. And so I'm going to turn it over to Brett. And I would like for you to kind of develop for our audience what's going on in Costa Rica. And I'm going to pass the baton to you now. Brett, you're on mute.
Always forget that. Thank you very much. You know, these technical things, I would be so glad when we all can get together finally and talk and not have to turn on or off a microphone, yes, make sure our lighting's right, fix the screen, whatever else we have to do. So we did this a year ago, and it was so much fun. And we ran out of time. I think we ran a half hour over of what we were doing. There's just so much information. So what we've decided is we're going to continue to do these, and hopefully, you know, we'll try to put together something once a month. You guys have all sent some fantastic presentations, and I think we want to cover it. So let's get into kind of the meat of what we want to talk about in a conversation with Costa Rica Part 2. And the first part of that is, what's the market like right now? With coming out of COVID, we are, you know, where is the market now in your area? And Alan, we're going to start with you. And I want you to include one thing is, if I was looking for a 2-bedroom, 2-bath, what kind of a price range and location can I look at for that property?
Okay, thank you, Brett. I'm glad to speak for the Pacific Coast, which is where I've lived for 17 years. And there's a big concentration of expats from the US and Canada here because, of course, we all like the beaches, we all like the sunsets, and everybody likes the weather. So to answer your first question directly, there are typical 2-bedroom, 2-bath condos, which would be unfurnished, but are totally suitable as a second home investment, specifically also for rental to other vacationers. You can start at the low end at about 200,000 and be within a 5-minute walk of a beach, or you can go up into the middle 300,000s and you can have an ocean view, probably from a condo tower, high-rise kind of building. And those are pretty consistent prices over the years. And I'll mention now, we can get into the detail later, there is a program coming for mortgages for US citizens, which could be applied to these kind of condo developments or single family residences, which will provide a 30-year fixed rate mortgage in Costa Rica for a US citizen. As far as the market in general, the COVID, I've told people, has actually been a blessing in disguise in some fashion, because I believe it's focused people on their futures, and they've decided if they had an interest in Costa Rica not to wait. So the market at the beach has been very active, surprisingly active, with people focusing on land right now, actually, and view lots, and putting them into their portfolios for later retirement or for relocating the family. We have a lot of families coming down who want to put their kids in the private schools here, which are very well rated and comparable to the systems in the US. And so I've had my best year in 2020, and 2021 is looking like it'll even beat 2020. So I'm very grateful. And I know that even though the pandemic has created huge problems and many people have suffered, I believe that's what's contributed to the activity here. I don't know if there's a specific question yet, but the typical house you could buy would be 2 or 3 bedrooms with a pool. That would be in the range of 400 to 600, depending on where it's located in our area. And of course, you can go up from that as well.
Hey, Alan, we just had a question about the fees for these condos. What would you be looking at for a condominium fee?
When I was in property management, we studied that, and we found historically that it is about 35 cents per square foot per month. So if you have a 1,000 square foot condo, a reasonable HOA would be $350 a month. Of course, you can spend more if the building is a high rise and it has elevators to maintain, or an unusually luxurious resort pool and requires extra staffing. But I think that number has proven true even today.
And what about your market now? Is it buyer's market, seller's market?
No, it's more of a seller's market, I would say. I think the continuing travel restrictions, although they're easing substantially, have dampened down the rental market. People are concerned about taking the risk if their intention is to have rentals because the population isn't coming back. But that's also lessening. It's become easier to enter Costa Rica. And I think that will be greatly improved by next year.
Great. Well, thanks, Alan. Now, Adrian, if we can have you kind of touch base with what's going on in your market. This is now moving to the central and southern Pacific and western areas of the country.
Well, I have a small presentation of about 5 minutes. I don't know if you allow me to put it.
Absolutely.
You guys have it, or you want me to put myself?
Cheyenne, do you have that, Adrian's presentation to share?
I do. Whatever you're most comfortable with, Adrian. I do have it on my computer if you prefer.
If you can help me on that, I appreciate it.
Absolutely. Just give me a cue when you want the next slide, okay?
Yep. Or I just say next.
That works.
Whatever works.
Okay, thank you. Go ahead any minute.
Yeah, while she's doing that and getting the slides up there, Adrian, where are you guys as far as buyers sellers market right now?
Okay, thank you for that question. Right now, okay, I'm gonna talk about the Central Valley. Costa Rica is a tiny, small country, as everybody knows, but it has totally different markets on the residential area. The coastal zone, as Alan speak very wisely, and the Central Valley zone, which is the cities, the most biggest cities that concentrate the majority of the people of the country, and that is on the Central Valley of Costa Rica. Right now, the Central Valley market, which, as I told you, is where is located the capital city of San Jose, it's right now becoming a seller's market. Prices are dropping down on second home, on second house, not new market, new developings. It's a good, again, a great opportunity to invest right now on second homes, used houses, used condominiums, and you see a percentage between 10, 15, even 20% less of the prices that was on the market before the pandemic crisis, before 2020. I don't know if that answer your question, Brett.
No, absolutely. That's perfect. Thank you.
Okay, next slide, please. Okay, thank you. As we speak, and I just explained a few minutes ago, Alan spoke about the Pacific coast that are from the border of Nicaragua on the north until the south with the Panamanian border. The hot zones are right now between on the coastline between the border of Nicaragua and Dominical. That's south of Jaco, as you see the name, on the center of the coastal line of the Pacific coastal line. The Central Valley, it's where it says San Jose and Cartago. I'm going to read this. Costa Rica most important urban areas are located at the Central Valley. In that area are located the 4 biggest cities in the country: Alajuela, Cartago, Heredia, and San Jose, the capital. This is called the Great Metropolitan Area. In Spanish is GAM. More than 50% of the Costa Rica total population live in the capital area. Also, the industrial, technological, and development zones are located on that big area of the central part of the country. Next slide, please. Okay, this is the zoom map of what is the Central Valley of Costa Rica. As you see, all these gray areas are located the 4 cities, as I speak a minute before, the 4 biggest cities in the country. San Jose, that is on the capital, Heredia, Alajuela, and Cartago, which is far a little bit of southwest of the Central Valley. Whereas the red circle is the International Airport of San Jose, which is Juan Santa Maria International Airport. Many people that come to Costa Rica use this international airport to come. The other international airport, it's at Liberia, which is very, very close of the coastal line. And it's a very, very great opportunity to save like 4 hours of driving if you just want to go directly to the coastline and doesn't want to come to the central area of the country. The 2 blue circles are like typical most areas that are investing for living on a high living style or middle high class, which is the area on the west, Curridabat, San Pedro, and on the east, you have Escazú, Romoser, and Centenias area. Both those areas are right now like the hot spots. Also going a little bit more east, going to Alajuela area, to La Guasim area. Those are the areas where all the new developings are constructing, and where you can find also second home or second use houses on with these big discounts, as I speak early on your question, Brett, to find great deals, since we're having a great opportunity of a buyer's market right now. And finally, the yellow circles are the industrial 2 big most important zones, which are the far west and far east. The far east is called La Lima de Cartago, with all these big plants and industrial areas are developing right now. And close to the airport on the east side it's called El Coyol area, where there are like 3 or 4 very big industrial parks right now already exist or in plans of developing, which is going to connect to the coastal line, which is just like 1 hour driving from that yellow circle point to the most important ports of the Pacific area for importation and exportation of products made on these industrial zones. Next slide, please. These are pictures of the capital city of San Jose on different views. That's the first picture is the Savannah Central Park. That's our Central Park, like New York, but in a tiny small, of course. You're gonna see all the big buildings, the new ones, and also not also new ones, about 10 years of developing ago, in the Romos area, which is really close from this park, and is right the hot zones, as Ophelia spoke also, for buying apartments in condominiums. The next picture in the center also, it's you can see the National Stadium, our Jewel in San Jose, and also you see brand new developings of buildings that has less than 2 years of that was building. And also on the last picture is also in the same area. As you see, before the neighbor was with old houses, and they're being destroyed to build these new high skyscrapers and new buildings of 20 and 30 floors that are the new views that you're going to see in San Jose in the next years to follow this presentation. You're going to see a lot of new developments, and that's one of the hot zones that people are investing in products right now on the east side of San Jose. Next slide, please. Okay, this is a very good numbers that you may put on your agenda or on your book, that prices of the market that we have by the beginning of January of 2020. These prices may have a little bit drop as we speak, because the market, as I just said, it's on the sellers right now opportunity. I'm going to read this very fast. On new units, you can find approximately 150 square meters of an apartment around $2,300 per square meter to $2,800 per square meter in premium residential areas. As I spoke to you, in this area of the stadium, Romoser, Escazú, Santa Ana, which is the premium areas right now of hot development. You have a secondary market units, also the same type of square meters, 150, range between $1,147 per square meter to $2,764 per square meter in also premium areas in the greater metropolitan area.
Hey, just one question about it. You're talking about US dollars, or are you talking about
US dollars?
US dollars. Okay, all right, thanks.
Of course, yeah. American dollar, yeah. The average of rental price of a 3-bedroom, 2-bathroom residential unit in the area, Class A, range from $1,000 to $1,500 per month. That rental is about $1,200 pays and add taxes of 30%. That new tax started in Costa Rica in 2019, that the average of this 13% of a plus tax, it's on above rentals of $1,200 and higher on residential renting. This is a very important point that you may have to analyze, that you can rent in Costa Rica residential or condominium houses and building and apartments, that if you rent below those $1,200, you're not going to pay that tax. And you rent up of that amount, you're gonna have to put an 30% extra on your budget for renting. Hot areas, Escazú, which is in the east side, as I just explained, Santana and La Guasima. Santo Domingo is in the north part of San Jose, and also Curridabat, that is on the west side, but it's more typically for Costa Rican of high income that live in that area of Curridabat. Next slide, please. Okay, for finalizing my presentation about the Central Valley, this is three most important announcements that international news and magazines spoke about Costa Rica. Bloomberg, it says that Costa Rica is one of the best destinations to go in 2021. International Living magazines, it says that it's #1 in Global Retirement Index for 2021. And also Forbes magazine, it says it's the #1 destiny for going to live in 2021. So that's a great publicity that those companies and magazines make to us for people that want to come to live in Costa Rica for retirement or for investing, or in the city or in the coastal line of our beautiful country. Thank you very much, Brett, for allowing me for this presentation.
Great, thanks, Adrian. We got a few questions that have come in now. One is, and this comes up quite often, a lot of people ask me about the Caribbean side of Costa Rica. Ophelia, do you have any comments you can help us with on where are the cities, or is that pretty much dominated by the rainforest and preserve areas? You're muted.
You're muted.
The Caribbean side is a beautiful, very plush part of Costa Rica. And it's a different kind of living, a different kind of atmosphere. And I happen to think by 2022, Limon area, the Atlantic area, is going to have a big boost because of all the tourism that is going to come in. Also, the industrial parks that are going to go that way too. And also a different, how do you call the structural roads that are right now trying to improve, because this has been part of the problem that we had before. And it is not as desired as most people that come to Costa Rica. I mean, what do they look for? They look for the coastal areas that are like the Pacific area, the North and South Pacific. And the ones that go to the Caribbean, it's a different kind. Let me just observe something. The people that go to the Caribbean are usually the Europeans, because they do like the rocky part of beach. The ones that go to the coastal areas in the Pacific side is smooth sand. So it's a preference of, so you're going to find a lot of Europeans. Now, Limon also has great places to go and eat. It's so plush and so beautiful that I think I see for the 2022 a big boost for the Caribbean area.
Has there been a boost in infrastructure? Yeah, in infrastructure.
Yes, I want to add something also, Brett. I've been doing an awful lot of webinars literally all over the world because of SILA that I've been invited to. And I want to add to what Adrian said. All over the world, this is what the conclusion is. There's been in Europe, which is the country that in Europe is #1 for retirement and to go and live, is Portugal. In the Americas is Costa Rica, and in Central America, and South America is Uruguay. So we are really a great opportunity for Costa Rica to expose to the investors as to why they should come to Costa Rica. And this is something, I don't know if you could allow me now to tell you as to what it is that the investor is really looking for today. I think one of the biggest lessons we have learned from the pandemic is that we're looking for a place where the health system is excellent. Costa Rica has it. It's been proven to have it. It is also a preferred place for the family. It's a green country. We are a green country. This is what everyone is looking for now. The technology is really up to date. We have it. A place also with the social consciousness and the environment is number one. Costa Rica leads the world in the environment. So this is something very important that people are looking for right now. And with the sustainable building is part of taking care of the planet. I mean, we are known for that. We are not perfect. We have some things that we like to include, but there's a lot of things, Brett, that we like to talk about it, the education and the people. So Costa Rica has all those checks that we're very happy to invite everyone to come and be with us.
The Pura Vida lifestyle. You know, that's what it's all about. And you touch base on multiple things. The green aspects of Costa Rica. You can pull up any article in any magazine you want, Googling Costa Rica, and you're going to find out they are the showcase of where the world needs to be for, you know, being environmentally sensitive. And that is like a little bit of a concern with all the development going on. Another thing you touched on that I think we need to talk about is you have a lot of major corporations there, technology corporations, Intel, Microsoft, you know, located in San Jose in the industrial park. And Adrian brought up that area is growing, and you're taking the area where my hotel was that I could see the stadium from is all going to be high rises. You're telling me, Adrian, I'm not going to be able to see the stadium anymore from my hotel?
Maybe in a few years you won't.
Yeah. So
Brett, could I
yes.
interrupt this for a second? I think the thing that's made the biggest difference at the beach, or is a significant difference, is that the country is now completely wired for high-speed internet.
That's
what there's a lot of people working remotely at the beach with the view, like my digital background, working for high-tech companies in the US or Europe, and they're happy as clams, as you can imagine.
So my reading, what I've read, is that atop of every telephone pole, atop of most buildings, there is a 5G transmitter. Is that correct? Is that
I'm not sure, but we have hardwire and satellite. You know, I have 30 megabytes up and down in my house, and I'm 3 minutes walk to the beach. And so you just can't beat, compared to when I moved here, of course, it's a huge improvement, and they're smart. They're very smart in planning this and executing it.
Well, just in the few short years we've been acquainted, I know when we first started, it was difficult to have conversations because about the only way we could do it was through WhatsApp. And even then it was, you know, but now it's like never been a problem. And Zoom meetings have been very, very easy.
The human resource, Brett, the human resource in Costa Rica is very well educated. So that's why we have a lot of high tech coming to invest. And right now, what you mentioned in the different provinces of Costa Rica, we're spreading the industrial parks. The free zones are becoming an agent for jobs throughout the country. So that's why I think that this pandemic has given us the opportunity to foresee a 2022, an excellent one. I'm extremely positive, and I think Costa Rica is going to flourish next year.
And also, Brett, I have a great news to announce to every American investor, and that is that a couple of months ago, I think less like a month ago, Costa Rican law changed to welcome all investors that want to buy a piece of land or want to invest in Costa Rica. We just changed the law, Brett, that allows any American or foreigner that want to invest in Costa Rica for a minimum of $150,000 investment. That's allowed. Sorry?
That is called the Golden Visa. And let me just tell you, you know, when I came back to, I lived outside of Costa Rica for many years. 30 years ago, when I came back to Costa Rica, they had what they're implementing now, which is, and listen, this is really good news for the investors because they're going to be able to bring their furnishings free of tax. You're going to be able to bring a car free of tax. There are going to be incentives for the taxes for you to invest, and it used to be $200,000. Now it's $150,000 to
Correct.
obtain the residency. So there's so many incentives right now that I think Costa Rica, and something else that I want to announce. Costa Rica is very well known for the medical tourism. So right now, what they're going to do through that is to join forces with the real estate people in order to bring that investment into Costa Rica, because right now everyone comes and do cosmetic, dental surgery and so forth, because the health system here, private as well as state, is quite good. But joining with also an active retirement. So the developers in Costa Rica are paying attention to what we call active retirement. What does that mean? People that are from 50 up that are not passive, but active. Which are those? The ones that I can really go and enjoy the country, but they already are of an age, they can enjoy this retirement benefits and be useful and part of Costa Rica. So we have a lot of good news coming our way.
Super. Sounds fantastic. Alan, I got to come back to you with a question, because
Sure.
you know, when we were going around Tamarindo and the city, you know, we'd ask for, you know, well, how do we get to this particular house? And, you know, well, you go past the gas station, you turn right on the little dirt road, and it's the third home on the left. You know, how does the postman deliver the mail? Oh, they know them, so it's not a problem.
Yeah, there's no mail.
Now still, the question came up, have the street numbers and names been fully implemented? And I know in San Jose, it's totally different, but in Flamingo and Tamarindo, are they still that way?
Yeah, it's pretty much, you need to know where you're going before you know where you're going.
Now, how do you sell a property like that?
How do you what?
How do you sell a property like that?
Well, I mean, things are a little organized. For example, the little town I live in near the beach, we have street names and we have lot numbers. So everybody knows the map of lots for this area, which is called Surfside. And so my house is called H15 because it's section H, lot number 15. But I never have anything delivered to the house that requires that information. Anything that comes, I live on Mango Street because there's a huge mango tree in the middle of it. And so everybody knows where the mango tree is, and you tell them how to get to your house relative to the mango tree. But it works.
Fred, nobody gets lost anymore with the ways. They just
there's ways.
And that's it. You don't get lost anymore.
Even Google Maps isn't bad.
Yes.
So we have a couple other questions that came in here, and one of them was about security. And I know every time I've been there, we've been out walking this street, never felt any problems at all. But the question was, what is security in the cities for owners and tenants in tourist areas? And then that's okay. Yeah, let's answer that first. So Adrian, you have any comment on security?
Yeah, well, as any big cities in the world, there are good green areas and there are red areas, of course. And the only thing I recommend and suggest to every foreigner that comes to Costa Rica, specifically on the Central Valley, I'm talking about. I don't know if Alan wants to speak about the Pacific coastal line, but I'm talking about San Jose specifically. I recommend not to go with, if you want to walk on the central downtown area to see all buildings, to the National Theater, to the Cathedral, to the National Museum, and want to make a street walk tourism, not to go with jewelry or expensive watches, as any city in the world, tiny cameras. Recommendation is 100% high tourist offices, official tourism that goes and pick up you to hotel, take you to the tourism specific areas and places, and then get back with that bus or that car that takes you up and forth to your hotel. And if you want, to go by yourself, don't just go with regular normal clothes. Don't be too fancy, and just enjoy. I mean, Costa Rica is very safe compared to the rest of the Central America areas, and it's not a danger country that you see people with guns or whatever. You don't see that in the city. I mean,
No.
and that is one of the very things that we are known in the world as a peaceful country. Remember, we don't have army since 1948. We have police officer instead of an army. And just to finish, everybody is welcome here. The people are very friendly. And one most specific recommendation. Many of the Ticos speak English. So don't be afraid of speaking English. I don't know, Brett, if when you're in the city and you speak in the city, everybody show you and help you around or answer you back in English?
Never had a problem. Everybody was so friendly. It's a different world. If you ever have the opportunity to travel there, people will learn real quick. It's very easy to get around. And my Spanish is not so good, so poquito.
But
Alan, what about your area as far as security and feeling comfortable?
Well, you know, we love it here so much, and we feel safe that the stories of people getting robbed on vacation or something bad happening, really, we take them to heart, and we feel hurt about it. But in fact, I have to testify that I guess when people go on vacation, they figure they don't have to be as careful as they are in their home country. And so they leave their cars unlocked at the beach. They leave their cameras sitting on the passenger seat, right in full view. They leave their rental condo unlocked. They do all sorts of things that they would never do in Naples, Florida. And it is a country where people aren't paid a lot less than the people who are visiting. And they're not violent crimes, as Adrian said, there's crimes of temptation. So if something there is visible to be taken, you can think it's going to be gone. So you just have to be on your guard a bit, just like you are at home. And when you do that, I've never had a problem in any of my time here, really.
Yeah, we found it very safe, and it's like Naples, Florida. I mean, the headlines of our newspapers are, someone stole somebody's bike, and then they say, oh no, it was returned, they just borrowed it. I mean, it's that kind of news. So even the crime that,
So it's unfortunate you have to tell people that in a country as nice as Costa Rica, you have to keep your guard up. But yeah, even in the nicest country in the world, there's a few people that are looking for opportunities to take things that don't belong to them.
Obviously.
So,
I think it's just to be cautious, like Alan said, not leave all the important
nobody has a gun
items in your car unattended. Just common sense, I would say, is what would apply. But Costa Rica is so friendly, and we are. Remember one thing, that all the investors that come to Costa Rica have exactly the same rights in the Constitution as a Costa Rican. The only thing they cannot do is to vote, but they have exactly the same rights. Most everyone, like Adrian said, speak even 2 languages. Obviously, English is the most important, but now French is common as well as Mandarin. So yeah, Costa Rica spends a lot of money on the education, and this is the human resources is, I think, the most appreciated in Costa Rica, and that makes a big difference, not only for investment, Brett, but also to come as a tourist. And I think we are on top of that. Besides, our number 1 divisa or
currency
is tourism. So we have to take care of this beautiful income that is the main source of income in Costa Rica. So let me tell you something else that I think is important. The Minister of Tourism is now working hand in hand with the realtors. You know why? Because when they come,
you had it as a job at one point.
Well, yeah, when they get off the plane, we receive them. They want to visit, and then they want to invest. So we have the Minister of Tourism in Sila, and it was a tremendous conference because he explained not only the goodness of Costa Rica, but how we intertwine doing this reactivation of the economy of the country. So we together can do it, as well as the other Central American or South American countries. So it is a huge opportunity that I see coming our way.
Great. Yeah, we're running close to time here, and we'll see where they want to go. But there's a couple things we definitely wanted you guys to cover. I'm just going to answer a couple questions here real quick. They asking about what the roads were like between the San Jose airport and the tourist waterfront areas. If you're going to Jaco Beach
Excellent.
or Formosa, it's
They're
like
all good.
41. It's like US 41. It's a divided highway almost, or a 4-lane highway. Very easy, very modern, very up to date. Most of the roads within San Jose area, same way. Going to and from the Guanacaste to San Jose, and even from Liberia to Tamarindo, it's a 2-lane country road. It's about the best way to put it, but that's improving all the time. The infrastructure is changing all the time.
Well, at the moment, Brett, we have a lot of, in the GAM area, a lot of work being done in the infrastructure of the country. So you will be seeing it now as everyone comes, you can see work in every place. So we are improving on that too. Yeah.
Good. And they wanted to name a few of the places on the Caribbean coast. If you can name a few of the areas.
I can speak to that a little bit. I think if they'll let the gringo talk about that. I have worked with realtors on the Caribbean coast, and Limon is the biggest city, but actually the most desirable areas are south of Limon. Places like Puerto Viejo are particularly nice. And I only discovered the Caribbean 2 years ago after being here 15 years. And I was totally surprised at how beautiful it is, how close to the beach everything is, and the real estate is actually cheaper. It's noticeably less expensive because there's less evolved infrastructure. They don't have an international airport yet, although I understand Limon Airport may be going international. They're sort of at the cusp of where Guanacaste was 20 years ago. And so it may be a good time for people to get in on that area of the country right now.
Yeah. Well, let's go back to a couple of things we wanted to definitely cover. A little bit from you, Alan, as far as the financing goes, your programs that you put into place, maybe some changes.
As everybody knows, up until a couple of years ago, there was no financing for foreigners to purchase real estate in Costa Rica. The best the local banks would do would be if you were a permanent resident already, they would offer you financing, and the rates were high because they pay high savings rates. So the borrowers have to cover what they pay their depositors. And there's no secondary mortgage market. There's no Fannie Mae or Freddie Mac buying the notes. So the banks sit on the note for the whole life of the loan. So it made them very careful. It made all processes slow, and it really wasn't attractive. So what was done 3 years ago, a loan origination company in the US developed a program where they create legally a US mortgage. The borrowers are qualified as they are in the US. The properties are qualified as they are in the US. And once qualified, they can offer them a 30-year fixed rate loan at a competitive rate in Costa Rica, not competitive in the United States. The best rate, 7.95, but it was the first innovative product for foreign investors in Costa Rica. And surprisingly, it's very popular. It went offline this year, unfortunately, because the CEO and founder died of COVID in Texas, but it's going to reemerge hopefully in October. And US citizens or anyone in the US, even green card aliens in the US, as long as they have a credit history in the US or a social security number in the US, can qualify for these loans. And they will finance 60 to 70% of the purchase or the refinance based on your score. It's only for single family residences, but that's substantially what everyone is buying, condos or homes.
Great, thanks. Adrian, can you tell us about your broker summit coming up September 1st and 2nd of 2022?
Well, thank you very much. This is just brand new news. We just decided like 2 weeks ago, the CCCBR, to make a national Congress of brokers, of local brokers, also welcoming all internationals that want to attend, of course, more than welcome. The first week of September, as you said, we're expecting to do this for around 150 to 200 people. The place is still on negotiation, so we're going to make the annunciation at the beginning of September after CELA Congress activity in Guatemala. And what we're expecting is to talk about the rising markets in Costa Rica, the opportunities to educate our brokers, to welcoming foreigners, to give the right path for doing business in Costa Rica, and also changing information with brokers from the city, of brokers that work on the coastal line, and exchange information, doing alliances. Actually, I need to notify Alan about this activity. Next week, we're going to have the first meeting. I'm going to invite you for that, Alan. And everybody is welcome. And of course, we would love to have an official delegation from NABOR to come to us. And if you guys come, we're doing bilingual Congress for you guys. Okay?
Just keep us posted, Adrian, so we know what's going on. We'll make sure we spread the word around the country so we can go from there. And Ophelia, if I can end with you, I think you sent some unbelievable presentations, but the one that really stood out to me was the Green Project. Can you talk a little bit about the Green Project for us? And you're muted. You're muted.
You're muted, Ophelia.
We can hear you.
Ophelia.
I know.
Okay.
I just noticed that. Sorry, guys. Well, it is the Costa Rica Green Project is something that our company really pays a lot of attention to, because Costa Rica, as I said, is green, and we have a lot of land that needs to have the investment and the environmental benefits that arrives. But I think I will let you see that video, and I think it will explain it by itself, if you would allow me to.
Yes. And before we do that, I just have one question that came across.
Sure.
Somebody asked about, do brokerage work with standard sales contract form? That's a whole nother discussion that I think we're going to have to cover at another meeting where we talk about how you do business in Costa Rica. And we'll have one of those.
You can tell everybody that everybody here that belongs to the associations is an NAR member, or we apply the ethics. And so they're pretty safe with any member of the associations.
Yes, and then the important part of all that is that they are IRMs, which means they are realtors, because they have a bilateral agreement between the associations and the National Association of Realtors, and that makes them IRM. So great. Okay, Ophelia, you got her set up yet? Or
oh, sorry, no. Begin.
Brett, could I talk about the training online for 10 seconds?
Yeah, if we can. And I'll tell you, while we're doing this, I think Cheyenne probably needs to set your video up, Ophelia.
Because we have it right here. Yeah.
All right. Let me have Alan do this real quick, and then we'll come back to
okay, just for the benefit of your members, one of our priorities is global outreach at CRGAR, and we have now gotten our training classes and modules video recorded, and so you can take them online on the internet from anywhere on the planet. The cost is $195, and you will receive the basic realtor training we offer everyone who works here. And if you're interested in understanding how to be a realtor here and have an eye someday to becoming a realtor here, I'd encourage you to consider doing that. And then lastly, we also offer a referral membership. So even if you're going to stay in the US and you took the training to become sort of better skilled, you can be a member of CRGAR, and you can have access to our database on Proxio on your own website. And there's a lot of other benefits. So I encourage you, if you're interested in Costa Rica, short or long term, to let me know and we'll set you up.
Thanks, Alan. Did you get her, Ophelia?
Yeah, I just wanted, before I just put it on, this is an example of the many projects, green projects that are to come in Costa Rica, but it will tell you the benefits too. Go ahead.
With a singular origin and strategic achievements throughout its history, Costa Rica has become a peaceful country with the oldest Latin American democracy and an ideal country for investment. The Army was abolished in 1950 and dedicated that expense to its solid public education, creating a greater life expectancy with the universal public health system, being a model to the world for its effectiveness and excellence. Costa Rica is a world leader in environmental conservation, sustainability, and social awareness, with an extensive network of roads and its electrical energy from 100% renewable sources. Costa Rica considers that environmental education and conservation will be what secures the country's future as two important strengths for their development. Deforestation stopped by protecting 25% of its territory with national parks, which today have 6.5% of the world's biodiversity, and positioning Costa Rica as a highly desired destination for sustainable tourism. The PSA initiative, Payment for Environmental Services, for reforestation and conservation on private lands, achieved the recovery of 52.7% of the forest cover. Nature tourism is the main income for conservation. Private areas under protection have a proportional discount on the land tax. Total tourism contributes 8% of the GDP, receiving an average of 3.2 million visitors a year. Sarapiquí is an important destination for sustainable nature and adventure tourism, where there are 5 green farms immersed in the humid tropics, standing out for its biodiversity and environmental conservation. As part of its environment, Braulio Carrillo National Park is born at the top of the volcanic mountain range north of the capital, with 50,000 hectares and at 60 to 3,000 meters high. Sarapiquí is also part of the San Juan La Selva biological corridor, with 200,000 hectares. The presence of the OET, Organization for Tropical Studies, is a consortium of 50 universities of vital importance for the development of conservation in Costa Rica and to Sarapiquí, where it was born. As a result of opening to tourism of the Braulio Carrillo Park, a good service infrastructure such as roads, bridges, power lines, and aqueducts have been built in this community. With the opening of the Braulio Carrillo Park, the 5 green farms will benefit the most since they are next to the public access roads to the entrance of this park, and some of them have joined the Rio Peje. These are the sizes in hectares of the 5 green farms. La Bonita Farm with 67.89, Oviedo Farm with 91.63, Churrasca Farm with 80.70, Salas Farm with 101.19, Finky Farm with 68.27, for a total of 409.68 hectares. We invite you to be part of the country of peace, political, economic, and legal stability, with an ideal climate and people who give you a warm welcome with a pura vida, or pure life.
This is one of many. This is one of many. We have a lot of land here, Brett, and I think this is going to be so useful because we are looking for all the investments, and we have a lot of interest from the States, from Canada, and Europe.
Well, if that doesn't make somebody want to go to Costa Rica, I don't know what else. We could do the same thing in Tamarindo. We can do the same thing in the Jaco Beach. We can do the same thing in Hermosa. I mean, just the country is a beautiful, beautiful place. And we really look forward to getting back there. I want to thank you guys, Alan, Ophelia, Adrian.
Thank you.
You guys always willing to step to the plate, help us out and stuff. And with that, if I can turn it back over to Christina, I appreciate it. And thank you for letting us run a little bit over time. I know we did it, but pura vida.
Yes.
Well, thank you. I think you all said everything that needs to be said about Costa Rica, although I'm still looking for more. So hopefully we'll do a round 3 and not have to wait as long as a whole nother year. But thank you everybody for your time. We appreciate it. I really want to hop on a plane right now. So hopefully we see you soon. Everybody have a great day.
More than welcome.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.